Welcome to your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you live from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi. I'm a public affairs analyst, and I have with me here in the studio Comrade Titilope Ngozi Akosa, the Executive Director of Center for 21st Century Issues. Comrade Akosa, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, before we start the program, I want to quickly give a shout out, a belated birthday shout out to former President Muhammadu Buhari, who clocked 81 years of age on Sunday. It is our prayer that the service that President Muhammadu Buhari has rendered to this country for, the larger chunk of his years on earth, that the Almighty will continue to reward him and continue to give him long life, good health, and strength in continuous service to humanity and Allah his maker. President Muhammadu Buhari, from all of us here, we are wishing you a belated happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. So now to our major focus of the program today. We're going to look at COP28, an assessment. What are the gains for Africa? And I know very well that Comrade Akosa, you were right there in the thick of the action, because we belong to a platform, and I saw your tenacity, I saw your resilience, I saw your tirelessness, that everybody was like, this is one woman battalion, because you were everywhere in Dubai in COP28. And for me, why the issue of COP28 was, was ongoing, which is about the climate change that we all are aware is a threat to humanity as well as our environment. Some persons, try to trivialize it, talking about the Nigeria's delegation, that Nigeria went there with 1,400 persons, but the Nigerian government came out and said we went with 422. And even with that figure, some persons still, threw, murder the Nigerian government. And for people like us, we're like, come on, if you recognize the importance, the seriousness which Nigeria attaches to climate change, you know that even that number is a far cry of what is expected to be there, because I doubt if there's any arm of government or any institution of government today that its activities is not being undermined by the threats of climate change. Because when we talk about climate change, we are talking about human existence on planet Earth. And if we don't frontally address it by shouting loudest, because we are the ones that bears the brunt most. Like we say in Yoruba land, if we want to behave like the industrialized world that is contributing over 90%, that is less concerned like we are here in Africa, that today almost all African countries have insecurity challenges, and these insecurity challenges cannot be divorced from climate change. The perennial farmers-herders clashes all over Africa. You talk about Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Burkina Faso. It's a fallout of climate change. So I wasn't there, but I was monitoring development. And for me, I want to be well informed about what were the gains that Africa got, from COP28.
Thank you very much. I think you have said a lot of things, and it's also very important that we sympathize with those who came out with those trivial issues. Anyway, I will not say it's a trivial issue. I will actually say it's an issue of transparency. They want to know more. But if you want to know more, you would have also done your own important investigations.
Absolutely.
And then give us the true state of things, rather than just going to website and just copy and pasting without actually understanding, analyzing the information you got. If you look at some of the information they published out there, putting names of organizations from Nigeria, also saying that everybody is sponsored by government.
Yes.
You see, people must understand that Nigerians have been going to COP years.
Yes, even before the Nigerian government became interested.
Yeah, the government will always go, but there was not much political will like we're seeing
now.
Yeah, during the time of Buhari, yes, we got there was some form of political will. Buhari was in in Paris, when we had the Paris Agreement, he came in the first week, and then the ministers came. Amina Mohammed came to seal it up in 2015. Then, and then after that, Buhari had always come, but when it comes, it's always on a short stay, and of course, believing maybe that is
maybe the level of government participation then is not like now.
No, maybe you see, we have different kinds of governance in Nigeria.
Okay.
So Buhari's method may be, okay, I have able hands to do it.
Okay.
Should I not?
Why should I stay?
But you see, in this kind of space, the leadership of the president is very important and critical. Because when they see your president that understands the process, understand multilateral development issues, understand that the space we are going in, it's a multilateral space. And what matters is how you pull your leadership into that space and influence the space to get a lot of things for your country matters a lot. And that is where we are going. And that's exactly what happened in COP.
That was where I wanted to ask that. Was it the situation in COP28?
That was the situation in COP, because we saw Nigerian president, he came in from the first day. He was not joking at all. He showed to us that
it was a serious matter.
It was a serious business. Of course, within the first day, you will even see that other countries saw that it was a serious business when they sent a strong signal that, okay, let's operationalize the loss and damage fund. And we have been on this thing since God knows when. And right there, it was agreed. Of course, after the agreement, how do we flesh it out? We as civil society will continue to hold them accountable to all those things. So after that first day set the tone for the Dubai COP. And of course, negotiations were ongoing on different streams of negotiation, like the global stock take, the adaptation goal, the goal on finance, and so many other issues that are on the table, the issue of just transition, the issue of food systems, and agriculture. You know, these are important things that have a very direct bearing to the impacts of climate change. So we need important decision statements that countries will take back home to start implementing. And more importantly, for African countries, we need the developed countries to be more committed to decarbonize, a deep decarbonization. They must take the lead in that. The reason is just because we as African states and the development world, we are not contributing much to emission. Most of our emission is just what, only a footnote, really. But we also recognize that if we also don't deal with our own way of production and lifestyle, we may end up emitting more. And of course, being at par, if care is not taken, with the developed world. So, first of all of us, whether developed or developing world, we need to commit to deep carbonization. And then for the developed world, they need to support the developing world to really navigate that transition. Basically.
The deep carbonization.
Because let me tell you, it requires finance to transit. For instance, people are talking about fossil fuel phase out. You see, the decision came out with a language on fossil fuel phase out. Of course.
But some people said the language was not, hard enough, that it was not strong enough.
See, people have their different opinion. But before we didn't have those kind of language. Nobody was
talking about it in that tone.
Pointing to fossil fuel as one of the culprits of one of the causes what is causing climate change.
Yes.
But now, the global climate policy documents have put that language there. There's a reason. It shows that we need to actually name the elephant in the room.
Wow.
And they have named that elephant in the room. So what do we do? Now they have named it. You see, for us as developing countries, we understand that we need to strike a balance between facing our fossil fuel and our economies and our people and their livelihoods, especially for Nigeria, where fossil fuel is the mainstay of our economy.
Yes, absolutely.
It contributes almost over 60% to our GDP.
Yes.
So what are we talking about? Are you saying because we have put that language then we should run back home and then Stop
And can it be done
exploration.
in a jiffy?
No. It's something that requires careful planning.
Yes.
And we give ourselves some moratorium to start divesting
Divesting, yes.
from fossil
I
fuel.
agree. Yeah.
And when you are divesting, you must have a better alternative. Better and cheaper alternative.
And cleaner.
And cleaner. So what are we talking about? So if we're talking about renewable energy, do we have the technology for now? As I speak today, I think I heard in the last 2 weeks or so that Nigeria is setting up a company to start manufacturing solar. I said, that is good. That's a good starting point. Because every solar product we have in this country is imported.
And
The best we have done is to pull them together in terms of...
I want to come in and, tell you that the transition from, fossil fuel to cleaner energy, it's something that might involve an advocacy by the National Orientation Agency. Why do I say this? I've been opportune to meet people who want to transit from generator to cleaner energy. And they're like, which one is cheaper? And after thorough deliberations, some have settled for solar energy. But when you talk about this solar energy, that, like you have rightly mentioned, we also recognize the cost implications.
Yeah.
So that is where we need government and institutional interventions.
You see, a lot of people feel that the subsidy you put into fossil fuel can be removed and put into renewable energy. That's one way of looking at it.
Okay.
But the question is, where are the entry points for the subsidy to come in?
To come in, okay.
A lot of people say they pay a lot of heavy duties on customs. That's not the only, for now. Maybe we can look at those kinds of removing duties.
Okay, the duties as the subsidies.
For the meantime, while we develop our own economy to produce solar panels and all the renewable energy products that will transit us to a cleaner future.
Yes.
So these are not simple economic decisions to make.
Transformations.
Yeah, we need to look at what we have in our account. How much are we making from fossil fuel now?
Yes.
How do we plug this money we make there to start developing that other
side? So that we don't lose out in the long run.
How do we ensure also that this transition does not have problem with those who are already experts in that field. Who have skills in
then it means we have to upskill their skill to this other...
upskilling.
Yeah, we need upskilling.
We need people to be trained to move from one
system of
sector to another sector, of course, that will help them.
Yes.
You understand? So, do we say we want to abandon them and then just move on? You see, the issue of not leaving people behind is very critical here.
Absolutely, I agree.
So that's why people call it just transition. We need to, then what about those people who have also suffered from oil exploration in their communities. They are yet to have justice.
Yes.
We need to deal with them before transiting.
But even as that, Comrade Akosa, the investment we have made in fossil fuel, energy, how do we transit it to the cleaner fuel,
You see, if you look at what is happening to Nigeria now, first of all, we remove fuel subsidy. That's a signal to show that, yes, we are willing to do what is needed.
Absolutely.
Also to transit.
Yes.
But we saw the challenges.
Yes. The economic challenges.
Economic challenges. Yeah. How do we, of course, bridge this gap in our economic downturn?
What are the opportunities there?
What are the opportunities? The opportunities that have opened up for removal of this fuel is for us, let's change our renewable energy mix.
Okay.
We're going to use gas. We have gas in abundance.
Yes. We are naturally endowed.
How do we harness that and use it? Though gas is still fossil fuel based.
Yeah.
But for now, that is what we have. And it's even cleaner.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can still use it.
Yes.
To do the transition. That's why you see the options of changing your car to a gas-powered car.
Yes, or electric.
Electric cars.
Yes.
But like I always tell people, electricity is also a challenge, so we must improve on our hydroelectricity to be able to actually effectively have electric bus uptake, really. Because or else you will just be using generator to charge.
Even if we're talking about electric bus uptake, we will recognize that as we speak, the Lagos state government has a blue rail line that is electric powered.
Yeah.
Then I'm also looking at our ferries. How are we going to transit from fossil fuel in the powering of ferries,
so
vessels,
yes, vessels and things that, and the shipping
the water business,
see, this,
the water economy.
That's why I said these are no simple economic decisions. We need to look at, simulate the models. What kind of model do we want? Look at the models on the table. What is business as usual for us? What is if it is not business as usual? What is if we have the different kinds of energy mix? What does it mean for our economy? Our economy matters because it's about people.
Yes.
People must be at the center of all this transition.
Yes.
And we need to be very careful here so that we just don't say because we want to face off fossil fuel, we make life horrible and terrible for the whole lot of Nigerians. These are something, and I don't envy the government, really, but what I know is that government has experts.
It's like they are between the devil and the deep blue sea.
No, not really. I wouldn't say devil and the blue. These are just striking a balance, the right balance,
but you know,
that will make our economy grow. You see, when you are doing transition, any transition that will not propel economic growth, it's not worth it. We need to be very careful about this.
I want us to wrap up on that.
So we also need to, how do we work with the private sector to mobilize finance from the private sector?
Well, I think the government can drive that.
And then we have to look at technology. Yes. What are the technologies that will work for all? We mean responsible technology, not just any technology that can wipe out the whole of human race. Yeah, we're looking at technology that are socially responsible for our people. And then will help us to decarbonize and put us on that path to a cleaner future.
Thank you very much, Comrade Titi Akosa. I believe strongly with this little interaction, the conversation, we have been able to educate our viewers that, you know, the COP28 that took place recently in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, was a serious business, and Nigeria's representation there was a testament to of the seriousness which Nigerian government attaches to climate change. And we're happy that we've gotten some commitments. We just hope that all the stakeholders who have signed into these commitments, you know, will play by the rules as time goes on. That is where we want to, you know, call it for this first stanza of the program. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to stay tuned to the conversation on TV 360, coming to you live here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you. We'll be right back.